the news that is coming in from the Supreme Court, where a 3-judge bench headed by Chief Justice of India Deepak Mishra has said it will reconsider
whether gay sex remains a crime in India will be decided by the Supreme Court today.
समलैंगिकता पर बहुत बड़ी खबर सीधे सुप्रीम कोर्ट से आ रही है। आपको बता दें, समलैंगिकता अपराध नहीं है।
Homosexuality is not an offence.
You can be gay and you can be extremely happy. In a historic verdict, the country's top court today decriminalized the same-sex sex between two consenting adults.
Celebrations broke out on Thursday as the LGBTQ community and others welcomed the Supreme Court judgment.
Great that this has been repealed. It was high time. And I'm glad the Supreme Court has done this today. I wish they had done it 5 years ago.
Seven colors, 7 identities, and 7 months since the verdict. The ones who faced loneliness and silence blossomed into their own right. The caged orientation and the shackles were shattered, and no one feared expression. But how much of it made a difference in their lives?
When Section 377 was decriminalized, I was sleeping. I personally believe that Section 377 changing all of a sudden is not really going to bring about a huge difference, because legally you might not be a criminal, but by social norms you still are. Homosexuality was all that was known of. The first time I heard the word gay was in a very insulting fashion from a few friends of mine while we were playing. So hearing the word gay, lesbian, bisexual, all of these were not considered as orientations or considered valid, but it was considered as a mode of insulting somebody.
Yeah, that's always been a dream of living alone. These are my best friends. Oh my God, Karan, you can live your life now. And I'm like, yeah, right, okay, I still live my life. So yeah, verdict did not change who I am, but probably it changed the value of as a country.
And interestingly, I had this conversation with my grandmother where she was like, if you're thinking about, your father's acceptance and then trying to go forward with this, it's not going to happen, forget it. As long as I live, you'll have a place in my house. But then, it's going to take a long, long, long time.
Post the verdict, if you see, there are a lot of people who came out also. A lot of people, like people who were in closet, everybody, most of them came out. And it's become a little more open now, before the verdict also I used to hold someone's hand and walk on the road, and now also I walk.
Post the verdict, there's been a lot of visibility because it became such a huge news, and it was all out in the media. People were talking about it, and there were lots of discussions happening.
People are really getting educated about these things more and more, and they start accepting these things better. And even in the younger generation, people are understanding that this is a way to live for a lot of people. But at this point, I don't think it's made a lot of difference, but yes, it has brought a lot of relief to a lot of people who have been, having these identity issues. At least they can come out in the open, speak about these things openly. I'm not sure if a lot of people are actually doing it at the moment, but at least it gives them a platform to start with.
So first and foremost, just to clarify, the section has not been decriminalized, it has been read down. When you say it has been decriminalized, means the Parliament, the legislature, it has repealed it. But that is not what has happened. A Supreme Court decision has read down the provision on Section 377. See, so it's actually, it has always been portrayed as a very bad provision, but it also has very good aspects. Before the POCSO came in, before the Children Act came in, this was practically the only provision which saved children from sexual abuse. But what it became finally was that the state machinery, a lot of cases of policemen picking up individuals who are having voluntary sexual intercourse, adults who are consensually entering such relations. So ground reality, very negligible amount has changed as such. Maybe the best thing that has happened is probably that the police now cannot harass as many individuals as it could earlier under the garb of, under the veil of this law. So covertly there is nothing, covertly a lot is happening still.
See, people who don't want to accept it will never accept it, what the verdict is or not. Aunt was the one who took me after the doctor when I was born. She told me. So I thought it's my responsibility to tell her first who I am. But she never accepted. She was like, मैं क्या कमी कर दिया मैंने? That's how she was like, मैं कमी कुछ नहीं किया है. I'm fine. I'm just that I like boys. She never accepted it.
Technically, there hasn't been a coming out per se with family, because we've had a very strained relationship. But then eventually, at some point, they reached a point of denial, and now it's a state of, numbness. They no longer know what to do, because whatever they try to do, the expressions just won't stop. I just won't stop telling anybody that I'm gay.
I never fit in the warrior bracket because he wanted a manly son who drives cars, bike rides and all that crap. I don't do any of those things. I only cook, and he couldn't see that.
I've had friends who are currently studying in the seminary who thought that homosexuality was a psychological or a psychiatric disorder.
I was child abused. Alright, so there was someone who asked me to do things which I didn't want to do. But then that is not the age I found out who I was, because 4 years is too young to understand who you are. At the age of 9, I would say between 9 to 11, that is when I realized that I like boys more than girls.
First is understand the pros and cons of revealing these identity issues and preference issues, and what it can bring them and what it can't. Huge decision for them, first of all, to be talking about these things, because most of people who are having these problems are either suffering silently or having their own small groups where they feel free and things like that.
The general Indian parents think is, if you're gay, that means you're wearing sari tomorrow. So that's the thing. And then that is the year my dad disowned me. He's like, no, ye nahi hoga, you're a dog, you're a kalank and all that crap. So
Accept them. To begin with, they go through all the phases. Denial, they start with denial, like my son or daughter can't be like this. This is not normal, because even the parents have to face a lot of, humiliation, if I may use that word, because that's how it is in the society. Because in their own social circles, they may start, being questioned or asked about it, ridiculed and things like that. So it's build them confidence. It improves their self-esteem. It improves the way they look at themselves and makes them feel more acceptable in the society.
Our kids, or if this generation kids are explained about the community from the base of their study, I think when they reach their age, they will understand what they are.
Trying not to establish, terms and conditions or norms of how a boy should be or how a girl should be. That is the first step. To raise their children as neutrally as possible. To not decide what their gender is. To put options out in front of them rather than, telling that this is an option, but you can only choose this.
I'm not someone who by choice I'm gay. You can't be gay by choice. It's by birth.
In a great way. So it takes a lot more time for social acceptance to come into the picture. But legal acceptance is excellent, because legal acceptance also, not only does it give you protection and rights, it also ensures and it also gives you immunity against half the social norms that are against you.
It's really important to talk to all the people who are closely connected, because that forms a social support, right? Whoever is closely connected, who's part of his first circle or inner circle, I think it's really important to talk to them about these things.
I don't think this battle will ever end. I don't think it's a question of how long it will be. It's more a realization of the fact that this is going to last forever.
They continue to strive towards a larger goal, a larger feeling, a more united one. Because it is not only their struggle, all of us are contributors to the movement. The movement lives and thrives. We are all changing as people in this mad world, while love still remains a constant. Love is still pure and real. In this mad world, Rohit and Akhil are still struggling to love.
What do you find the most attractive and cute about your partner? Oh, okay. You are in general cute. Yeah, you.
And actually from you. Thank God we're doing this video documentary. Like the fact that you're saying, I'm
See, the question demanded me to say something nice about you.
Okay.
So that's why I'm saying nice things about you.
Okay. It has been over a decade now, but initially I don't know if I find anything cute about him now. But initially when I met him, he used to be very chivalrous towards me. But things have changed quite a bit now, so
I'm still chivalrous.
No.
Of course I am.
He's a different person now.
I always let you enter the car first.
No.
What are you talking about? Of course I'm still chivalrous.
But things have
You have different expectations.
Things have taken a different turn now. It's not that a good quarrel or a good turn every time, but then a good turn.
A good turn. Yeah. Things have
taken
eventually.
Okay, perfect. I don't mind.
He's never on time. I hate it. He doesn't want to plan. He doesn't like planning, and at times you'll find that cute.
There will be times when our stories will overlap because honestly,
because you copy me.
Even not just my immediate family, but my extended family, they are also very supportive of our relationship. As in, we are not treated differently in a crowd or in a gathering, in a social gathering. Came out to my parents. I was like in class 11, and you came out much later.
There was another coming out that I remember when I had to, although I don't know like why I had to, but when I had to make it very clear to my father that we actually sleep and like basically we make out, and he was like he was not comfortable with that conversation. Nothing to do with gender expression as well. All I'm saying is that like the societal norms of gender expression where like they associate sports, or at least when I was a kid.
Oh, I know the reason, because I was in a better school, so I grew up in a more liberal atmosphere. Do you think things have changed after the decriminalization of Section 377? Did it have a direct or an indirect effect on your relationship per se?
It gives the community more confidence. Of course, they have now more faith in the judiciary system. It was very regressive.
On a personal level also, I think we know of friends who have become much more confident ever since the article was annulled. And just because we have the legitimacy now and the legal safeguard now, so people
legitimacy to fuck.
Yeah.
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 I guess that's it.